We have a few major questions we need to talk about. Has our bull run completed? Is there more room up? And what exactly am I buying going into today? And what is happening tomorrow morning that is going to be crucial for the continuation of this move? Now, before we get into that, to ask you to do two things. Consider liking and subscribing. Every single day, I'm giving you the videos you need, going over key data points and where we're moving on the indexes and which stocks I love. Now, over the past 3 videos, I talked about the market looking very bullish, and I went into exactly why and why you should be looking at those key data points. Now, the script may be flipping, so we need to talk about this in depth. Now, when we go over this, what I want to start talking about is specifically the ranges we're looking at. And if you need to go watch the video from this weekend on Friday, then go watch it, because we talked about hitting this level of 13.7 on the NASDAQ. And the NASDAQ did just that. So when we go to the daily chart, I want to pull this up for a second and just kind of look at what's happening here. So we're just going to hide our indicators to make it a little bit cleaner for you. And when we get in here, I want to just highlight the movement that we've already had. Basically, since the bottom going into June 16th, you have rallied back up to above our overall expectations of 13.5 to 13.7, and you might be on your way to a rally towards 14.2 in the next week. I'm going to explain exactly what I'm watching and what would have to take place in order to get that rally. Now, going into ES, this is one of the biggest charts of conviction that I have right now. Looking here specifically, the same overall trend where we're bouncing back to, you are finally getting to that key range we mentioned again on Friday, 4,300. Now, at that time, you had pushed up to around 42.65 and then retested that zone, but I'm going to tell you exactly why I was so strong in this. Now, when you're looking at your charts, you need to be looking at a few key things, specifically supply and demand is what I'm using, and the kind of resistance and supports. But this all comes back to price action with a volume. That's ultimately what we continue to talk about and dive into here. Now, specifically on Friday, what happened? Now, when we come back, you can see on Thursday, you started to get this push up really nice, and you came back down, you retested that key zone, and I told everyone I was buying calls at that level. Why? Because 4,200 was a very massive level. When you come back out again to about the 4-hour chart, you can see where this was, the 4,200 level roughly right here. It was your previous highs you had back in May. And guess what? You broke and you mounted. This is consistently what we're looking for here. We always want to see a break and then a retest. And what happens on the retest? That's your buying opportunity, right? So we had that opportunity. We've been writing those calls, and you're ultimately pushing to our key target right now, which we've been targeting for quite some time. Now, in a perfect world, NASDAQ and ES would have hit targets at the same time. So NASDAQ would have hit 13.5 and ES would have hit 4,300 at the same time. But that did not happen. Actually, NASDAQ ended up running a little bit further. As you can see on this chart, you're actually above that level and you're continuously pushing. Now, going into ES, because this is where all of my questions remain, and this is all that matters right now. Me and Jay Ream were talking, and as you're getting into this level here, you're coming into a pretty illiquid area once again, and you haven't had one of these in a while. The last time you really tested one of these key areas was down here. So when you got above this like 4150 range, you were totally illiquid to around 4200. So when you broke above, it was a straight shot to the upside. Now here you're coming back to this type of range between 4360, 4370, all the way down to 4,300 flat. So as we go into tomorrow, what I'm going to be looking at is how do you react to this level? So far we got to this level, and I was telling Discord I wasn't too eager to get into calls yet. I'm going to show you exactly what I bought, but I wanted to express my concern for this level of 4,300, basically to 4,305. Now, if you can come out tomorrow morning and you come out from some of these earnings that are happening and you push above and you somehow get that retest, it's a great opportunity. But I'm not going to lie to you. Even if you come into tomorrow morning and you break above around 4304, 4305, in my opinion, it's almost a sure shot long towards the upside going to 4350 here on ES, which represents SPY. So something like SPY, when we come here, we're looking at the 4-hour, also going over our key ranges here. It's almost like nothing but upside to 436, 437 up here, if you can open up tomorrow from these earnings and continue on this bullish trend. But there's a few things happening tomorrow we have to talk about before we really go any further. Now, the first thing is going to be earnings. Now, coming into earnings, you have Walmart tomorrow, and this is going to set the tone on inflation. So coming into these, you need to be very concerned with only Walmart earnings, which come out before market open. So you'll actually see the movement that we're getting. Now, if you look at Walmart, I think you have to come out of this with a bullish sense. You have more upside than there is downside. So automatically out of the gates, if I had to take puts or calls here, I would have to lean towards the calls going on here. Why? Because if we look at the 4-hour chart, you can see, one, you are at a key level. So that is your only downside potential here, is that you're at a big resistance. However, I just don't see the cause for something like Walmart, which is an economic moat type stock, which is a defensive stock, something that isn't going to get a lot of downside. But the last time you had this downside was at its earnings. So I want to highlight that. But they're coming out with a lot of things that they're working on. Specifically, they were partnering with Paramount for streaming. They're really pushing their subscription based, and they're trying to get more into these fields as well and expand their broad range. So Walmart's doing the right thing. They're trying to get into more fields. They're trying to take advantage of what's happening specifically from COVID. So I like what they're doing there, and I think they could surprise us with some news here. But going into Walmart, you need to understand this is going to set the tone for the market tomorrow, Walmart earnings. Also, going into this week on Wednesday, this is your next big news, but this isn't going to be too big of a worry tomorrow. I did not see this, and it just got brought to my attention this morning, is you do have Fed minutes being released going into, I believe, Wednesday. So Wednesday, you do have your Fed minutes right here. 2 o'clock Eastern, Fed minutes coming out. That's going to be big. I do believe it's going to be bullish. I'll go into exactly why tomorrow. But looking at that, that's your two big things you have going on right now. So going into these charts, what am I looking at tomorrow morning? Walmart. Very big. Most important thing right now, you need to be watching the earnings coming out tomorrow morning. This can drag the market down, I believe, if it comes out very poor. ES, you're at a key range. Once again, we look at this chart, the same level, 4,300. It's a major, major key level. If you open up above this key range, what does that mean? If you get above 4,305, in my opinion, you are bullish all the way to 4,350 at the minimum, and then the upside potential is 4,370 before you start hitting a brick wall. So this range here is very bullish. If you get above 4,305, you will continue in a hurry towards that range. Now, I also want to highlight, if you come out bad from Walmart, I am not looking to trade puts on the market. I continue to say this. Why am I not wanting to trade puts? Now, I continue to say this because I want people to understand what's happening really in the market. So we're going to go to the 1 hour time frame. If we're looking at what's happening with this trend, you have been able to make money to the upside consistently because that is the way the trend is forming. I will also highlight you are in a wedge, so that is a bearish pattern, but I still believe the upside has more potential and is more lucrative here. So I am not looking to get into a play to trade towards the downside. Why? Because you continue to hold previous highs. So for instance, we're just going to get rid of these key levels that we've had going on and some of the pullbacks you had. But if you look here, and I've been very careful to highlight this to show you, you're breaking above, coming back, retracing the previous highs, and then buyers step right back in, retrace the previous highs, they step back in, previous highs, boom. It's just continuous action over and over and over. So until we start to break below some previous highs, there's no reason to flip to a bear thesis. Again, when we come to about the 1 day chart, looking at the trend that's happening here, I also highlighted this for you all on Friday and Thursday. You are breaking out of this trend. You've retested it and you're bouncing straight through it. If you get above this level here of about 13.7, it's looking like you want to run back to 14.25 to 14,000 flat. I'm just saying you have a lot of upside and you're coming to levels that aren't very liquid. So that means there's not that many resistances. So going back to some of these levels, when you had this previously, like I told you, whenever you broke above this key level of 13,000, it was almost 100% chance that you were going to test these highs. Why? Because every time you've come into this range, you play pinball back and forth every single time. You come back here. What happened? When you broke down into this range, you bounced, came right back up. You went down, came right back up. Every time you're playing this pinball game back and forth. So we're coming back into a range where you've done the same thing. So when you get above this range of around 13.7, 13.8, I'm going to be looking heavily towards the call side and getting a top test of 14.2. But this all depends on what's happening tomorrow and going through Fed minutes. So again, I want to highlight, I'm not looking particularly at NASDAQ tonight. I will be looking at open if you get above 13.7, but the real test, in my opinion, is ES, SPY futures. If this holds above 43.05, you are a bull. The end, you're bullish. That's what you want to see. Upside is the only play from there. Now I'm going to go over some stocks that I'm looking at specifically on this market right now and show you some of the things that I am in. Now, I've been talking a lot about some heavy stocks, and I'm going to talk about these ones first and then some potential plays I'm looking at as well. So first one to start out, obviously, is going to be Google, and I probably couldn't have been that obvious, but I'm going to talk about what I like here. First of all, you push up, you get above our key level, which is around 121.6. You never really got a retest, so if you do get a retest, I'm looking to buy more. However, you get into this range and then you form a bull flag, but I will say you got to push up and you kind of consolidated here at the end of the day. So it wasn't a perfect bull flag, but I still like what's happening. I ended up getting in to 123s for next week. I still love this, and I'm sitting at about break even, but I still love what's happening here, and I like Google overall. If you can break above these highs, it's highly likely you're going to test 123.5. And then hopefully you can get the test of 125, which we are looking for. That's what we want to see there. Next one is going to be Target. Now, this is probably the most bullish stock that I have on the watch list, but I had to cut half of my position today. Now, I'm going to show you what we were looking at here specifically. In Discord, I mentioned this one a few days ago. I'm going to go and show you exactly where we got in. This was a swing. So Target, we got in around 2.6. And then today, those contracts ended up getting to around 3.5, but I had to cut those a little bit early. So I cut half of my target at 3.4, 3.5. I also mentioned to everyone in Discord, I went pretty heavy into these. So what were we looking for here? When we go to the daily time frame, we come back, we can see this key level we had right here. This is all we were looking at right here, this 169 level. Now, you come back, you can see what happened. We're going to go into the 15 minutes to show you a breakdown of this chart as you zoom in here. 1, 2, 3 touches. We bought right here. The next day, the rest is history. You've been pushing up. You're trying to hold previous highs as well. As long as you hold this, you're looking really good. But if Walmart comes out tonight, it's going to greatly affect Target stock. So if Walmart tomorrow morning comes out and it's bearish, it's going to drag Target down. So I had to cut half because I did go heavier into this position, although it still is a swing. So this is probably my favorite play right now. I'm targeting 177 at the minimum, and then you have 181. Those are key levels I'm watching. Still love it, but I did cut half my position, and I am up pretty nice on that as well. Next up, we're going to look at Netflix. Now, when we look at Netflix, obviously one of the favorite stocks here on the channel. I've been talking a lot about a potential squeeze here. I want to highlight where I've been talking about this stock from. We've been talking about it since the break of 204, 205. I believe there is more room to come here. However, you need to understand the risk here. Now, I've already cut some of my shorter term positions. Again, for example, I told everyone in Discord, I had some shorter term positions, and then I told them about this one on Friday for August 19th. I do like the 260s, and they were at 180, 183 right now. Then this morning, again, we ended up adding some of those. What happened today? Right at open, those were at 290. Trimmed them immediately. They were almost up like 60%, something crazy. Out of the gate, you popped up. So our short-term positions are helping us out, but we're holding our long-term positions, which in Discord, we have the 350s right now for December. J-Ream rolled his out to 350s. He's the original caller on that. I still have the 300s, so I do like the 300s. 350s are nice too, but this is where you're sitting. Once you start getting in this range, that's when you're going to start cooking, and that's when shorts most likely start to cover. And again, this will come right back into ES with sitting at that $4,300 level, because if ES gets rejected, most likely Netflix gets rejected as well. Where indexes go, that's where your stock is going to go. Now I'm going to go into some of the plays I don't have and some of the plays I'm liking. Now, actually, I do have Microsoft. I still like this position. I do believe there's more potential upside. We're looking at that level right here, and I have a swing on this one. So I don't have a short term, but this is a swing. We're looking for a 296 fill, and you also have that gap fill way up here at 309. But Microsoft went on a run. You mounted your key level. You're looking for more upside here. I'm not looking to get into any more of these right now. This is just a swing. Just want to update you guys. Trades I'm looking at. Tesla. This has been one of the best plays, one of the easiest plays, maybe of the year. Now, I mentioned to everyone going on Friday, or maybe it was Thursday. If you're looking at Tesla, all you're looking at key level 904, 940, and then your support down here around 870. That's all you're looking at, nothing else. If you get above 904, you're looking for the test of 940. If you get below 904, you're looking for the test of 870, 868 down here. That's it. That's the trade. Now, we've had this range for days. This has been here for, like, I want to say 2-3 weeks. If you can mount above 940, this thing will get bullish. So you already are bullish, and you're looking kind of like you're getting a flag going on here, but you want to see a break and a retest of this 940, 944 area, and then you're looking to long it towards 970. Now, 970 will be a tough level. You need to know that. You need to understand that this 973 is going to be tough. That's your next level. If you get above this, you're looking to get back into the thousands. I'll keep you updated on that. But all I'm looking at here on Tesla is a break and retest. If you get above 940, the retest, and you're looking to long towards 973, very key level there. We're also going to be looking here at NVIDIA and AMD to wrap up the video. Looking at these plays specifically, you're coming to your key range at 192 roughly. We've talked about this quite a bit. If you can get above this range, you have a lot of room to run, obviously, but I want to mention you're coming to the top of this range, right? So you could have had your opportunity back here at the monthly, the retest of the key level 186 range, but look, you're coming back to this range. So just know we're not looking for too many calls here. We love the stock, but you're coming up to a key range. Possibly you get a push to 195, 196. I like it there, but you need to be very careful as you're trending in this range. Once you get above this, that's when we're looking to go deep on the call position. Last but not least, Meta. Maybe one of the best stocks out there right now, but I want to talk about exactly where you're looking to play this because I've had a lot of questions here as well before I let you out of here. Now, you are holding and you are making higher lows. Very interesting, something we like to see here. You're making those higher lows continuously. You're finding a key resistance at 181 roughly. I'm not looking to get into this trade until you break above right here, 183, 184. Okay? You have room if you break above here for a scalp, maybe to 183, but I'm not looking for that. You want the big play here, right? We want to see a break and a retest of 183. When we retest this, you have monstrous room towards the upside. You have no liquidity. You're basically just going to start going on a tangent towards 193, possibly even 200. So the play here on Meta and Facebook is wait patiently, wait for this to set up, and we're looking to long when we get over 183. Now, before I let you out here, I want to go over Bookmap and show you this as well. Now, Bookmap, we saw something interesting on the day. Lots of volume. We saw really decent movement when it comes to the volume. So we saw up, down, up, down. You couldn't really make up your mind, but near the end of the day, I like what I started to see here when it comes to the icebergs and the hidden orders here. You started to see a lot of buys come in. We love to see this. Near the end of the day and the after hours, boom, lots of buyers stepping in here. CVD did go to the red, but this is what we wanted to see, the buyers stepping in here. All that matters now, again, I want to highlight this. All that matters going into tomorrow is Walmart's earnings. If Walmart beats, it will set the tone and we will rally. We will go above 43.05 on ES and you will be bullish and continuing towards the upside. Going into Cheddar Flow, looking here at SPY. Again, you're seeing the ratio go down. This was way closer to 2.0, puts and calls. You're seeing a lot more volume coming in towards the call side. Yes, you still see some of those puts, some of those hedges, but you're seeing a lot of bigger orders coming in here as well. QQQ, we remember this. This was sitting at roughly 3.0. Again, it's coming very close and getting closer to being a flat ratio here. And again, you're seeing a lot of those bigger orders are coming to the call side. So these are things I'm looking at right now. SPX. Look at this. Again, your biggest order on the days are sweeps and they're strong orders towards the upside. So again, I like what I'm seeing. You're seeing flow coming in as well, and you're seeing you consolidate at your resistance right now. And when you tend to get to these key levels and consolidate and sellers can't push you down, what's happened the past few days? You've been popping straight up. So when everyone's coming at you saying the market's bearish, we're doing this, we're doing that, don't listen to them. What you need to be doing is watching the volume, watching the price action, because that is all that matters.